like and subscribe. Watch the video to the end. We do an in-depth breakdown on Curtis Blaydes and Tom Aspinall. So watch to the end. Let us know what y'all think. We appreciate the support. Welcome back to another fight prediction. Greatness Personified. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content. Y'all, we got a crazy main event in this one. I don't think it's for a number one contender. It's not for a number one contender fight. But whoever wins definitely put themselves in a position.
Especially if they get a finish.
Especially if they get a finish, because you know what? Cyril Gane and Tua Tavasa are fighting. So that probably is a number. But the winner of this fight might be fighting right behind them, if not fighting the winner of that fight. So, y'all, we got two guys here who are legitimate threats to the title here. There's kind of been some people always kind of expected Curtis to make it kind of far after a certain point because he only get beat by certain fighters.
Or a certain fighter.
Or a certain fighter. And Tom Aspinall just got that.
But the person he so happened to lose to is the champion.
Is the champion, yeah. But this might be the only way Curtis can get a rematch is if he work his way into a title fight where you got to fight the number one contender. And then, hey, it's always, and I've been telling you for this for years, I always felt like Curtis was going to get one of them fights.
It wouldn't be funny, bro, because Francis lost to Stipe and came back and beat him. Wouldn't it be funny if Curtis came back and beat Francis for the championship belt?
Hey, I can see it happening. But standing in the way is Tom Aspinall. And this dude here, look, when you know how you watch certain fighters and they just stand out from different fighters. Like they just got that certain energy on them where it's like, yeah.
He pretty much make all his fights look easy.
Yeah, bro, I just seen a crazy stat that he only been in the cage for 15 minutes. Curtis been in the cage for times 10 that amount.
Oh, my God, man.
Now, granted, Curtis has fought the who's who.
And that's what I was going to say, man. Like, it could be a good thing and a bad thing, not having all the octagon minutes. Because the thing is, like, has he been tested against a fighter like Curtis Blaydes?
Not really tested, but there have been a few times where I don't want to say the striking was close, but just guys didn't go down as fast as they often do. And then Tom had to start going to the wrestling. Not because he was getting beat or anything like that. Because, I mean, it's like it was either what and what or he was getting the better of it. But you just don't want to play with fire with some of these guys, man. He was beating one guy, Alan Badeau, and he started spinning and all this stuff, spinning elbows. And it's like, you know what? Let me just take you down and get you out of here. Because you run out of stuff to do and you just doing crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't no point in taking no chance of losing.
But you can't blame him. That shows like pretty much
IQ,
man, and pretty much experience.
Yeah,
to be honest.
And hey, again, that's another one of those intangibles that he brings that you just see him do stuff and it's like, yeah.
And we criticize certain fighters, man, for like making the bad decision, the worst decision at the worst time.
Yep.
So I mean,
so for him to to not do that, it's good. So it's a lot of potential with both of these guys here. Now Curtis has had some big fights in the past that didn't really go his way, but Curtis is still only 16-3.
And the thing is, like, he lost to Derrick Lewis, man. But like, I hate to say this, but if you run that fight back, man, I think Curtis will like embarrass him. Yeah, to be honest. But the thing is, one thing that stands out is the fact that Curtis, like his competition, man. Yeah. Look like the Francis Ngannou, the Derrick Lewis. Like Tom never really like fought like the upper echelon fighters. Like pretty much like Alexander Volkov, that's his toughest fight, man. I
mean, if you really go look at Curtis' record, bro, you got Mark Hunt on here, you got Alistair Overeem, you got Francis Ngannou, you got Junior Santos, you got Volkov, which he on Tom record too. That's probably one of the reasons they made this fight because he really dispatched of. Man, Tom really dispatched of Alexander Volkov.
Look how Alexander looked in his last fight, man. So it was like that was actually a real good win for
Tom. Yeah, like to have such a small amount of fights against somebody like that and to go out there and just really do what you want to do and make them look, not like who he is. That's crazy. Now the thing is, if you look at their records, now Curtis is 16-3. He got 11 wins by KO. Now, just recently, he started finishing people on the feet. But people forget, he got about 6 or so finishes in the UFC by TKO, but they on the ground. Yeah. Dude, he is one of those people who, if he gets you on the ground, if you don't really know what you're doing to get up, he can't finish you.
But the thing is, another thing is, like, we're starting to see growth in Curtis Blaydes' game, too, man. Because when he fought Rosenstrike, I was going for Rosenstrike. And like he didn't really finish him. And people say like the performance in his fight was like boring. Yeah. But I think he fought smart. And I think like he can actually beat like a lot of like elite fighters like that. Like not necessarily ground and pounding them and finishing them, but just controlling them on the ground. Because he's so big and strong.
Yeah, and that's just by default.
And then especially imagine him fighting against Tom, man. Like when if he's able to control them, stay on top, man, just pretty much like ride the clock out.
For 25 minutes. But the thing is, I think that he coming in with a different mentality because he had some fights where he thought, you know what, I'm going to just rely on the wrestling and then look at the Derek Lewis fight. You got cleaned up because you just thought that was going to be there. When really and truly, he was doing good against Derek on the feet. And it's like, dang, then you just dove in for that. But then, now the thing is, he got Curtis has 5 decision wins, and he only got 3 losses. Now, granted, 2 of them came from one person, and 1 came from Derek Lewis. So losing to Francis Ngannou and losing to Derek Lewis ain't bad, but he got 3 knockout losses. Now, the only thing is, Tom is really well-rounded, but Tom is 12-2. Tom has 9 knockouts and 3 submissions, but the difference is, I look at that and I'm like, okay, his best way to win is on the feet. But if you look at the way the people that knocked out Curtis, they were like really power-heavy guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know there's a lot of skill, and there's actually a lot of deceptive speed and technique behind Francis, but Tom is more of like his knockouts come because of speed, technique. You know what I mean? Just doing all the right things, the high IQ, and that could present problems. But again,
one thing that stands out, I hate to say this, man.
What?
One thing that stands out, man, is Curtis has been in a 5-round fight before. If you think Curtis not going to the 2nd and 3rd round, man, you're crazy.
Yeah, of course.
Like you crazy, man. At the very least, man. And his experience, because it's kind of like how, like, I'm not comparing them. I'm not comparing Tom to how Curtis was years ago. But kind of like, you remember years ago, it was questions about Curtis' cardio.
And then you kind of gotta get to that point where you pass all your tests, but then you gotta pass this next one to see if you can go to the next level. And Curtis did that, and he did good sometimes, and he did bad. Yeah. And then I think he started to round things out and say, you know what, I kind of had some of the same problems, and this might be for me. Now, don't get me wrong, I can make a good argument for both of these guys beating each other, but I lean more towards Curtis because he already went through his trial and he already went through the fire. And I just feel like this ain't going to be the fight. I just feel like if you look at the people that beat him, I just don't know if Tom is going to be in that category. Now, the thing is, Tom is special. That's why I don't count Tom out at all. And not by like a lucky punch or nothing, but I mean like just the way the dude fight.
He's making fights look easy like John Jones was.
Oh.
I hate to say this, man, but that's how John Jones was. He was just tearing through opponents.
Bro, the dude been in the cage for 15 minutes over the course of like 5 or 6 people. I want to say, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bro, look at this. 3 minutes, 3 minutes and 45 seconds, 2.5 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute, not even a minute. Dog, this is crazy.
I seen one, I pretty much saw one of Tom interviews, and he said, they asked him, so, like, how do you think you're going to beat Curtis Blaydes? And he said something weird. He said, like, I can beat him or finish him in a lot of different ways. And when he said it, I was thinking, like, I don't think he can beat Curtis in a lot of different ways. I mean, it's an MMA fight. Anybody can win in a different, like, pretty much multitude of ways or whatever. But it's like, I can't really see him knocking out Curtis Blaydes. I see them going to the ground. But how's the fight going to get to the ground? That's the thing,
yeah. Because obviously,
he's not Andre Arlovsky. He's not Andre Arlovsky. He's not Allen.
That was Andre just didn't show no type of submission defense, man. I mean, he just got.
He was getting pieced up, standing up, though.
Yeah, you're right. That's true.
But another thing I noticed, man, is
what you saying?
My bad. Another thing I noticed is like if you look at like Curtis Blaydes' losses, he lost to like big, powerful counterpunchers.
That's what I'm saying.
If you think about it, like Derek Lewis, pretty much Francis Ngannou, and like Tom, he's not really a counterpuncher. If you watch him, he dances and he skips and stuff, man.
Set up,
but like he kind of do 1, 2. Maybe a body
But it's good
kick.
though because those are the most basic things that most people don't do, which is why they can't win in 5 fights in less than 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Because those feints and just the hand speed and the head movement. Bro, this dude moved like a lightweight. This dude is really like, he really moved like a lightweight, man.
He's a freak, man. Like,
he really, like, this is one of those hybrid, weird, like, fighters where he got power. It ain't no crazy amount of power, but he got deceptive power, like what he might get credit for. But he got.
I hate to say, like, I'm not saying he has power like Stipe, but I think like
right.
I kind of compare him to Stipe with his size and his footwork and athletic ability. The thing is with this fight, man, like I'm getting Anthony Johnson versus Alexander Gustafsson vibes Because you remember when he got beat in his own country?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, man, like, I hate to say this, man, like, but I think Curtis is going to go over there and beat Tom in his own country.
But you know, the thing is, though, if it go to a decision, Curtis definitely ain't getting it. So you can, you can forget. If it go to a decision, we've seen time and time.
I disagree with
in the O2 arena.
I disagree.
We've seen some shade.
But you can understand. But if it goes a distance, Curtis typically dominates to the point where it's not.
I think close. You think Curtis gonna get every takedown? No.
I was gonna say that too, man.
If Tom could just make it close enough.
I was gonna say that it's like this is the big question, man. Like, what happens if Curtis take Tom down, but he pops back up?
Well, what happens if Tom is beating him standing up and then Curtis get a takedown? But it's like, how do we score that round? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now the thing is, how much of a factor do you think Tom's jiu-jitsu is gonna play into this? Because let's be real now, Curtis, we know the wrestling is there, but he's starting to put people away. Like he's starting to get more confidence in not over striking, but just mixing in his wrestling, then surprising them with the hands. Ooh. Now the thing is, do you see Tom being able to maybe use his weapons? Like what?
I mean, yeah, maybe. But the thing is, it's interesting, man, because I think it's gonna actually be like, okay, they both gonna go for takedowns. I think they both gonna go for takedowns. Yeah, I think they both gonna go for takedowns, man. I think like Tom's gonna go for takedowns, but he's not gonna get it because I think this is only way, not his only way, but it's the best way to win is to get the fight to the ground. And I think like it's gonna turn into almost like a wrestling match. I think it's either gonna be a wrestling match or a striking match. You know what I mean? Because I think the reason why I say this is because it's different levels, man. It's one thing to fight like the Andrade Blaydes, but when you step in there against a top 5 fighter, Curtis Blaydes, like you got nerves, man. You got, okay, man, this guy, like he done fought Francis and Ngannou and stuff. So I think like he's gonna go in there, man. He's gonna get nervous, and I think he's gonna like go for takedowns. Like I hate to say this, man, but it's different levels to this, man. The top 5, and then like the guys in like the top 5, like they're better than everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's either going to be like a striking match or whatever, where nobody's going to go for no takedown, or it's going to be like one of them things where, because whoever gets on top might win. Because if Curtis can get on top and control him, it might like pretty much sets it like to like where he's going to do that for every round. I think if Tom gets on top, he might win.
But okay, how he going to get on top? Now that's interesting because I don't necessarily see it coming from a takedown. But I can definitely see that speed. I can see him dropping Curtis.
No, man. It's one thing I saw on Tom, like on his highlights and one of his fights, is when he fought against Andrade Blaydes, man. Like I'm not saying like Tom don't have power, because he has deceptive power, but he was hitting he couldn't even knock out Andrade Blaydes, man.
That's true.
And I'm not saying because Andrade he got tougher and more durable in some kind of way. He's more durable than he was early on in his career. But I seen him, man, and like Tom was kind of like throwing flurry of punches, and he wasn't really like accurate. He wasn't really precise or accurate. He was just throwing punches, man.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Like Tom, sometimes he'll take people down, not necessarily because it's competitive standing up. Yeah. It's just he kind of throwing everything at him, and then when he realizes, like, you know what, he kind of taking these shots. Let me go ahead and just take you to the ground and submit you, because he does have a jiu-jitsu game that people don't really. When you think about Tom Aspinall, you think about like a really good, talented person. You don't think
he's known, but he's the jiu-jitsu coach at his gym. So true. He's known for.
But I'm talking about in the narrative in the octagon, because a lot of people, if you watch Tom Aspinall fight, you're not gonna think this guy's a jiu-jitsu coach. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even with the fights he won by submission, you're gonna come away from that fight thinking like, oh, he can strike, he can take him down, and he can get him out of there with quick sub. Because with the submissions, he kind of got him fairly quick. It wasn't like a whole bunch of showing off jiu-jitsu. It was more, I took you down, I submitted you real quick. It ain't like it was like a Damian Maia, Charles Oliveira breaking them down type deal. Man, half of them people was gone by the time that fight got to the ground.
I hate to say this, man. But pretty much Curtis, he's been knocked out by Francis and Ngannou, and he's been knocked out by Derek. They're probably the 2 hardest hitters in the heavyweight division of all time. Man.
Well, in the UFC of all time.
They're still, obviously it's not good to get knocked out, but at the same time, like, it's not like he's been knocked out by scrubs. And I saw Tom, man, he couldn't even like knock out like Andrade Blaydes.
But Andre can kind of do that to people sometimes, though, because it's weird with Andre. It's hard to use him as a measurement, because there are times where people put Andre away real fast. Then there are times where it's like you can hit him with a baseball bat and he just won't go away. You just never know what you're going to get with Andre. But I think it actually shows how smart Tom was to say, you know what? This is one of those nights you showed up with your chin. But let me go ahead and submit you. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is, I love Andre, man, but the thing is, like, the elite knockout artists can knock him out. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at his record, bro. Stipe, Alistair Overeem, Francis Ngannou. You know, dude,
but
Rose and strike.
And I'm gonna tell you another thing. We can't act like Curtis wasn't up in there with Alistair Overeem back when he didn't have no striking. I'm talking about his only hope. No, his striking. He had just started getting to the point where it was like you start the process to be like, okay, let me show a little bit of striking. But dude, you can't go in there and show off your brand new striking, your brand new shiny striking on Alistair Overeem. This ain't the place you want to be showing off your new stuff. You want to go your bread and butter, and that's what he did. You know what I'm saying? And so Curtis has been in there with like far more dangerous strikers, bro, in my opinion. Because, I mean, obviously Francis Ngannou, Mark Hunt, bro, let's be real. I know overall Mark Hunt ain't, but for what he does, bro, he is so dangerous on the feet. Come on, man. These guys are dangerous, bro.
The only thing is, I think this fight is going to come down to like how good can Curtis Blaydes mix it up. I feel like if he can mix it up real good, the hands with the takedowns, I'm not going to say it's an easy win, but a decisive win. But if he can't mix it up and he can't get into a rhythm, he might get beat. Now,
another thing, this is a 25-minute fight. We know Curtis know how to pull out a 25-minute fight, basically, at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Now, Tom, man, he kind of getting them out of there quick. So, it might not. Wait a minute. He got a undefeated amateur record too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 plus 2. Man, he 18-2. Obviously, the 18-2, hardly none of those people are on the level of the people that Curtis either beat or lost to. But
he got a 6-second knockout. Oh my God,
dog, his hands are so fast. Like his hands are crazy. That's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily think like he ain't a power person like Francis, but the hand speed, you got to think about it. Even if you don't knock Curtis out with that hand speed, you can get dropped. Oh, you can definitely get dropped with that kind of hand speed and accuracy. You can get dropped. You can end up on your back, dazed, and all of a sudden, that's when a lot of submissions come into play because it's like people who you wouldn't even be able to get to fight to the ground to get a submission, or if it was a regular grappling exchange, you wouldn't be able to throw up a submission. Well, if you dazed and rocked, all of a sudden now I can go into my bag. Now, what you was going to say?
I was going to say, yeah, but not with the blitzing style. He's going to get taken down. It'd be different if he was like Francis Ngannou. Okay, he's moving, he's setting stuff up, one strike and stuff, man. But the thing is, he pretty much goes for it 1-2, and he blitzes his opponents. He's not gonna do that to Curtis Blaydes. He's gonna be on his back.
But let me tell you another thing is
another thing is though, I think like pretty much like Curtis Blaydes is a little bit more unpredictable because if you fight Curtis Blaydes, what is he gonna do? You know, we know he's gonna go for takedowns, but he also gonna like stand up with you. So it's almost like, dang, I don't know.
Because he's starting to eat standing up too.
Yeah,
so he might want to get that.
Yeah, so I think Tom will look green.
What do you think? But he can win.
Oh, absolutely.
He can win. But it's just now
because we seen Curtis lose a couple times, but he lost to Francis though. Like,
yeah,
we can't hold it.
And it's so weird because he lost to Francis twice, and bro, I ain't gonna lie. When I looked at Curtis' record, I thought it was gonna say like 5 losses. It's so weird because there's a cloud over him where you think he got more losses than he do, and it's like he lost to 2 people.
And Curtis, he almost like he's confident against everybody that's not Francis Ngannou.
Yeah,
you know, but when he fights Francis, I don't know what.
But I think but I'm gonna be real with you. I think that Curtis gets past Tom. I definitely see Tom has the ability, and even though I can't make the argument for Tom, I can't come up with a game plan to win. He's one of those people who he just showed that he's different from everybody else, man. On a roster of all these fighters in the UFC and all these heavyweights. How often do you look at somebody you watching fight and say, he gonna be one of them ones? Like how people looked at Curtis over at a certain point and said, yeah, he gonna be one of them ones.
The only thing is in the heavyweight division, man, it's different because you have to like earn that. You have to beat a certain level of opponent to say that. Because we didn't seen guys, like I hate to say this, but we didn't seen the Alistair Overeems and well, he got a title shot eventually, but for a long time he couldn't get over that hurdle where it's like to beat an elite fighter. So like I feel like you have to earn that, like, pretty much to say you're an elite fighter.
Well, this they chance and their opportunity to go in there. And like I said, I don't necessarily know if the Tua Taveras and Cyril Gane is for a #1 contender. Is that fight for a #1 contender?
Yeah, I think so, man. They're pretty much close.
They're right there anyway. Cyril, he barely lost.
He just lost to the champion, man.
So I mean, so realistically, whoever wins this fight could be fighting for the title or fighting against the winner of that fight. So. Y'all let us know what y'all think and you know, holler at you on Fight Night.